What's up, guys? So on today's video, I'm going to be going over some tips and tricks, especially for Zoom, and some of the things that I found that are helpful, especially to up your Zoom game. One of the things that I found is, especially when clients hop on a Zoom with you, it's really helpful to have certain things to make obviously your office look a lot better. Especially if you're running from in-home, just because a lot of people that are talking to, they have like that blurred background and it doesn't really look good. If you're able to get a much better Zoom background, better sound quality and everything like that, I find that the sale goes so much easier, especially on their first impression. You're able to build that trust a lot better, and it's increased my closing ratio a ton. I mean, I've gone from 50% all the way up to about 70 to 80% on closing, just because I'm able to build that trust faster. And so when I go through the application and anything like that, it just makes the whole thing easier. So what I have, I'll link it in the show notes. I just made a Zoom setup thing on Notion, and I'll put this in the link. So these are some of the tools that I find really, really helpful to do. The left side, I call it the more essential stuff. And then over here, you can kind of mix and match, but you want something like this in order to have the video that you want, okay? The first one is a mount dog. Now, frankly, you can get any of these lights. I used to use a ring light, but it just didn't look that great. I like this one mainly because it's cheap, if I'm being honest. You can pick up one of these. Let's pull up Amazon. It's like $40 for a full light. It's got a remote, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, $45. You can have that put in place, and it makes you look a lot better, especially when you are on Zooms. If you don't have room for this, go for something smaller. This one is rather large, but I'm in the back corner of my room. So when I hop on Zooms, I have plenty of room to have that mounted. And I find that it gives you great lighting. And especially when clients are hopping on with you, don't have to blur out your background or anything like that. You look great. And so when you do hop on that Zoom, you do build that trust a lot faster. Another one is going to be an iPad right here. Frankly, you don't need to go out and buy the most expensive iPad. I bought mine for, I think, $300. It's just a 10th generation. You want one that can have the Apple Pencil. That's all you really need to look for. So I think the 9th generation, you can have the Apple Pencil. 10th generation, you can, and obviously every single one past that. If you have a newer iPad, fantastic. But if you're looking for something a little bit cheaper, definitely just go for a 10th gen. I just picked one of these up. At Best Buy. I traded in an old phone. Got this. I didn't spend any money on it. You can get a used one. Doesn't really matter. One thing that I will say when you are running this stuff, get the app called GoodNotes. So GoodNotes is an app that I put all my presentations on there. So when I run these presentations, all I'm doing is I have one per state. So what that looks like is, so if I'm running a mortgage protection appointment, I just join the Zoom, and then we have mortgage protection, and then it has each one of my license on here, and then I just run through that presentation itself. The nice thing is you can draw on it, so it really helps with clients who can't quite understand mortgage protection, or if you're just trying to pitch final expense. It just allows you to kind of put the numbers in front of them, because if you're not in home and you're just talking on the phone or doing something like that, they don't really have perception of it. So it's a great way to show your client their financial situation and why they do need this type of coverage. Now, the next thing you will need is an Apple Pencil. One of these. You need to make sure that when you buy, depending on what iPad you buy, there is a Google Apple compatibility chart. It'll tell you what pin works with this. For the 10th gen, it's the USB-C one. There's a different one for the 9th, and then there's another one for iPad Pros and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, just look it up. This pin's like $60. It just charges, super easy. So those are the essential things that I like to have for my Zooms. Those are ones that kind of made a larger difference and also didn't really break the bank. Some of these other ones can get a little bit more pricey, but when it comes down to it, I make a lot more money with a good Zoom and nice equipment, just because a lot of those people that are kind of skeptical, I just don't really run into skeptability things. So the next one is the camera I personally use. I use a Sony ZV-1. There's no particular, I'm not a big camera guy or anything like that. I've had a ZV-1 forever, and you can do this with literally any camera. So what you need to do in order to set up a camera to be used in Zoom, you are just going to need a camera and then what's called a dummy battery. So this is the dummy battery for the ZV-1. If you got a camera sitting around, just do this. You just Google dummy battery, and you'll pick this up. Costs $21. And what that does, that's a continuous power supply for your camera. So the ZV-1, this camera is just on all the time, and then I just run my zooms through that. If I need to take the camera out, I just pop the battery out and then put a normal battery in. So I don't have to worry about a thing. And the ZV-1 is nice because you do have USB with it, so you can technically run it USB. I run it a little bit different just because I found that the interface works a little bit simpler if you run it this way. But the other way is I run an Elgato and then a micro HDMI. If you just run USB, it still works. There's no real difference between them. Besides, like, sometimes my ZV-1 wouldn't register and had to unplug it. The Elgato just kind of gets rid of that. The Elgato is just a USB capture card. So it just goes in your computer. It's just a USB. And then you're going to need a micro HDMI to HDMI. So if your camera has an HDMI port, you plug it in the HDMI port, and the other HDMI goes into the Elgato. And then that is a program in your computer. And so then when I pick my meetings, I just pick the Elgato camera. And that's how I get good video, especially when I'm doing Zooms, because unfortunately, a lot of people have shitty cameras on Zoom. The next part is audio. I'm a bit of an audiophile. I really like to make sure that my microphone sounds good, to make sure that all that is correct. There's a lot cheaper options for this, but I just want to show you guys my setup, exactly how I do it. So the first one right here is my Rode mic. It's $99. You can get one cheaper, but all you need is an RCA mic. I used to use USB a lot, but what I found is with USB mics, you could hear a lot of the background, while an RCA mic, it just has better sound quality. So when you're doing that, I like an RCA just because I get that good sound quality that goes with it. So you'll need the mic, the RCA cord, then you're going to need a boom arm. The boom arm I have is the Logitech G Compass. I think it's like $100, but you can get cheaper ones. There's like Samsonite, Newegg, they make them, and you can just put them on. They're only like $30. So you don't have to break the bank for that. Now, when you take this RCA, you're going to need something to be able to get it into your computer. That you're going to need a USB interface. This is the one I have. Apparently it's discontinued, but all you're going to need is an RCA to USB. That's literally it. So obviously my RCA just goes in there, and then on the back, power source, and then I just plug in USB 2.0. And so that is how I do run that in order to do that and set that up. So that is my setup for Zoom. Let me know if you guys have any questions about the Zoom, or if you have cheaper alternatives. You can just leave them in the comments. I'm more than happy to look at what other people's setups are, or let me know what your setup is. I do find that having a nice Zoom just always makes it a lot easier, especially when it comes to closing percentages and everything like that. Plus, it just makes you feel good when you hop on a Zoom and it looks really nice. So that is all for this week. Please like and subscribe. Putting out videos like this every week, and let me know if I can help you guys out with anything or any struggles you're having with systems, or just making sure that your insurance agency is running smoothly. Thanks. Bye.